Another thing that seems to be splitting the way Democrats think, not just the idea of electability, but also the idea of impeachment. Is this a fool's errand? I think you have many in the party who think this is a man who's done plenty of things that are why we have impeachment as an option, and others who are saying, no, we need to focus on the ballot box as a way of removal. What do you think?
I think this is another one of those things where Democrats are sort of outthinking themselves. Like in the same way with the electability thing. Like you may really want to beat Donald Trump. You can't personally work out who's the most electable candidate to win the primary. In the same way, impeachment, you sort of can't really game out what the political impact of impeachment is going to be. That's not the kind of process impeachment is. If a president commits crimes, commits high crimes and misdemeanors, the way the Congress is supposed to hold him accountable is by opening an impeachment inquiry, doing an investigation, and then voting on whether or not they think that it rises to that level. Whether or not that hurts the president, helps the president, hurts the Democrats, helps the Democrats, A, is unknowable, and B, should be beside the point. And if you're doing it for the right reasons, I think you are more likely to persuade the country that you've done it for the right reasons, rather than you having tried to think everybody around a corner in terms of how this is supposed to work out. I just think approach these things simply. Pick the best candidate who you think would make the best president. Approach impeachment in terms of the constitutional imperative here. Who cares who it's good for?
It does strike me as well. Whether he is impeached or not, he'll act like he was impeached.
Yes.
And you know, he's not gonna, if he doesn't get impeached, say, you know what, that was a real fair shake I got from the Democrats. Yes. I tip my cap. Exactly. I may have been wrong about those bozos.
It's true. They're going to run campaign ads. He's going to give speeches talking about them being socialists who want to impeach him. There's nothing you can do to make him not call you a socialist.
Right.
Just do what you think is right. He's going to call you names. If you're really lucky, he'll give you a diminutive nickname. Congratulations.
Yeah, that'd be a winner.
There's no way that you can get around that stuff. And he will, and the Republicans will all campaign as if the Democrats are just impeachment-mad socialists. So just do what you think is right. Don't worry about what people say about you.
We both talked about Trump's adventures in Europe, and that was just, in general, I just found a peace with him being there just because it shifted by 5 hours when things could happen. You know, at like 9 o'clock, if I was at dinner, I had a thought of like, if I haven't heard anything now, he's probably asleep, you know. But
you were so good that when you described him as like every American tourist thing that anybody has ever done wrong, anywhere in the world, he's doing them all at once.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what he was. When you described him that way, I was like, that's what he's doing. He's embodying all the worst stereotypes that everybody in the world has about dumb Americans, and he's living them large. Like with their leaders. It was just...
Yeah. Well, you can tell they look at him and they're not saying, oh, I've met a guy like this before. They're like, I've met a guy like this before, but it was 100 different guys.
Yes.
Like this, he's like a Voltron of all of it.
Yeah.
You had a wonderful, I had not seen this photo that you called out on your show last night, which is, here's the Trump family, and a picture, and I will say they all look lovely, beautiful gowns.
The Trump adult children.
Trump adult children.
Why are they there?
Who pointed this out to you? Did you find this on your own? Or?
So I was reading the Irish press because, as you talked about on your show as well, Trump goes over to Ireland and is like, yeah, about your border wall with Northern Ireland. It's like, dude, there's no border wall with Northern Ireland. And that's a really sensitive subject. Please don't go there. And so I was looking at the Irish press to see how they covered that disaster by the president. And what I found is they were like, hey, look at this picture of the Trump adult children. Isn't that lovely how they're posing for that
great,
photo?
But we're going to zoom in on something over here, right there. No photos. They literally are like, let's take a picture. And they're like, well, not over there because it says no photographs. And they're like, no, let's do it there. Yeah.
The whole president's whole family poses in front of the no photos picture. Yep, that's pretty much our lives.
That's their style. That is their style.
Yeah.
I want to be serious here for a second because you've done a really a good job of covering a very scary situation right now with all the abortion laws that are being passed at the state level.
Yeah.
And obviously there was a lot of talk about what Alabama did, but there's also a lot happening in Missouri right now where there are basically efforts being made to close the last abortion provider in the state.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about like what actually is happening there and how punitive it is, these laws that they're talking about?
The thing that's different about what's happening in Missouri right now is that they are the closest any state has ever been to completely ending legal abortion access in the entire state. No state has been able to do that since Roe versus Wade was passed by the Supreme Court in 1973. But for the first time, Missouri's state government, the Republican-controlled state government, is trying to shut down the last abortion provider in the state. So they're trying to take the last clinic's license away. And as they are doing that, the state government has come in and they have told the doctors at that clinic that while they're still open and while women are still able to get abortions there, the doctors at that clinic must now start giving medically unnecessary pelvic examinations, like vaginal examinations, to women specifically, basically as the cost of them asking for an abortion. So it's medically unnecessary. The doctors don't want to do it. There's no reason to do it. The women who are getting abortions do not want this done. And the state government has come in and mandated that they get this extra internal exam while they're trying to shut down that last clinic. And so we've been reporting on that for the past week or so. The state government in Missouri got very mad at us about reporting on it, but it's freaking true. And we went to the clinic and talked to the staff there about how they are being forced to do this to their patients now on orders of the state. And it's just, I think it's upsetting, I think, to a lot of people, both the state of abortion rights around the country and what's going on in Missouri. But the fact that they're doing that to these women on order of that state government is just a sort of horror movie disturbing.
Well, we certainly appreciate you guys actually getting on the ground there and going and talking to those people, because that is incredibly informative and necessary at times like this. Last thing I want to ask.
Yeah.
You are, in the middle of all of this, moderating debates, hosting your own show, you are writing a book as well. Just to like relax and unplug, you're writing a book, and it's a fun, is it a fun romantic comedy romp? Is that a safe way to describe it?
Yeah, it's a romantic little ditty about the geopolitics of the oil and gas industry.
Rachel! Rachel, no!
No, I do that. I do that. You know, I do some vaping. It's like pretty much like it's my kicking down.
Blowout.
Time.
It's called Blowout.
It's called Blowout. It comes out October 1st.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'll come back and talk to you about it.
Okay, great. I look forward to it. It's always great to see you. That's
Thank you,
Rachel
Seth.
Maddow, everybody.